Greetings and welcome back to Factorio. In this episode, I am attempting to do a voiceover over a triple speed maintenance mode game. The first thing that I'm noticing is that these light oil crackers do not have enough water, so I'm basically just kind of bootstrapping that on there. And I believe the next thing that I do is to add some extra connections from the refineries. Just adding light oil connections basically, so because the pipes are actually full. And I think I may have to just redo the entire oil system in order to get full throughput and make things run more smoothly, possibly beaconing the entire setup instead of just like here and there beacons. Okay, just going to add a few more beacons here. Just a little bit. It's kind of like a halfway measure, I admit. But it's just attempting to solve our plastic shortfall there. Here I've noticed that the miner has run out of coal underneath it. And I need to resupply on a couple of things. I'm just checking out my train to see if I have enough space to do some major maintenance, basically storage space, because some of the mining deposits have run out of ore completely, especially this one here, which is kind of looking dreadful. So I am deconstructing the entire thing, and then I will basically just put miners on those little tiny bits that are left here. Looks like we only have one train coming to this station. So that one, I guess, will continue to come through. And here we go, using that half-empty train car to store some of the stuffs. And here I just want to get rid of this mining deposit as fast as possible. And therefore connect it up with a few of the power lines. It doesn't matter if it's balanced at the train station or not, because this is so little copper that we're just kind of waiting for it to run out. The other copper stations that we have and ore fields have plenty of supplies to keep our copper smelting running for a very, very, very long time. Well, maybe not a very, 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 maybe just very, very long time. Here I'm just taking off little miners at the end and just... and then I decide, okay, the whole thing really needs to be redone because we have efficiency modules in these things, and that's not going to help our supplies last any longer. What we need is instead to put productivity in there. And here you see me at the active provider chest, emptying out things that I really don't need anymore. So I'm going to extend the RoboPort network up here so to get the base robots involved in all of this cleanup and rejigging and redoing, so that my robots don't have to do all the work themselves. There is some amount of copper still underneath all these miners and belts and things, so I'm going to just redo the whole thing using the blueprint that I have with productivity modules in it. Here you see me just picking up the belts because, you know, for each piece of belt there's between 6 and 8 items on it that the robots have to pick up. I think their max carrying is something like, I don't know, 3 or 4 pieces, I forget. But anyway, it takes several robot trips just to pick up one piece of belt that is loaded with product on it. So those are the most efficient things that I personally can pick up, so that's what I've been doing. And every now and again, I swirl around and I pick up my own robots and just charge them quickly, because that's a little bit of a slight exploit, I suppose, where you can pick up your robots from the air and it instantly charges them. They no longer have to wait around in a ring around your head. You saw me add 2 more RoboPorts on there so that I could get more and more robots working for me. So here I am adding a few more, basically redoing the whole mining field here with that very compact productivity module design that I've been using in the rest of the ore fields around the factory. And we're just going to connect this back up to the base. So the reason that I extended the RoboPort network from the base is so that we can get productivity modules installed, because remember, these guys just had efficiency modules, and I don't have that amount of modules on me in terms of efficiency ones, so I'm just letting them come from the base, and the base can install them as they're ready. I don't even know if we have enough at the base, so that's gonna be what we're getting. Here I just get a couple little extra miners that are going to get those tiny little bits of copper that are on the edge of the zone with the iron over there. I need to install a few lights. And here we are, the trail of robots following me, trying to deliver things, and I have insufficient space in my inventory. I really do wish the inventory was a little bit bigger, or maybe research could extend it or something like that, because I constantly have to keep coming back to the boxes, even though I tried to empty out my my inventory enough, because I knew I was going to go doing this construction project. It still just isn't enough. So, yep, and here it goes. Another active provider goes down. So then, which is a cool thing, because all of those items can get transferred to the base, where they can be recycled and stuff like that. So here's this other side deposit that has just a little bit of ore left, so I'm going to leave those guys in there, and then just kind of rejig the connections a little bit. As you can see, the belts are just totally backed up because we are not using all of this ore, so, which is okay, because that's where we want to be. We want to be backed up on the belts, so that our robots can deliver us, or not robots, what am I even thinking here? We want to be backed up on the belts to know that we have enough stuff to go into the smelters, so we have enough iron plates. The problem right now with the factory is that nothing's running, because we're basically redoing the whole thing. We're not producing anything, maybe except for modules now, to feed all of these miners. But otherwise, our rocket production is stalled because we are moving it elsewhere. So the factory isn't actually doing much at the moment. So here I am just basically blueprinting stuff, sending stuff on its way, getting all of these things connected up here. And I'm going to have to try to balance them a little bit on these belts here. I mean, just ish balancing, not really balancing. Not properly balancing at all. So, and I realized that I have no lights in these blueprints, so I re-blueprint the entire thing, because it's pointless to keep on blueprinting the thing with no lights in it. So I redo my blueprint to add the lights. Right, and here we are, basically just connecting these belts up into these new formations. This is quite a big ore field, so it takes me a couple of goes to kind of balance everything-ish correctly, but it will get processed. And as you can see, the robots have already filled in quite a lot of the modules that we needed, but some are still needing to be added, of course. All right. The sound effects do sound kind of funny at triple speed. I'm fairly amused sitting here watching it. Alright, so now I am moving my train forward to go to the next deposit, which is copper and iron, and I notice, oh god, the horrors. These are miners that are spaced millions of miles away from each other. We must redo this immediately. This is horrible. So the copper looks fine, except there are a couple little bits on the end that can be recycled, which is more modules for the rest of the factory. And I realized that I need more roboports. I'm adding them here and there to extend the network, and then I run out of them very shortly. Okay, we're just going along, trying to get these roboports connected because I need help with all this deconstruction from my robot-y guys. Got to go back to the base. I put down another active provider chest again to recycle materials and all that kind of stuff. So the one drawback about using this kind of method is that you get all of these huge amounts of robots wanting to charge at the end station because they've traveled such a long distance. So, but they'll get there. They'll sort themselves out. And I put down some chests nearby in case they want to deliver stuff, but of course, you know, that doesn't really work because the robots put it in the chest that's already stacked, and it's probably in the middle of the base somewhere, so they are making long trips. But I do have a number of robots available, something like 3,000 construction robots, or is it 4,000? I don't remember. But anyway, I noticed the radar has been disconnected, so I reconnect it there. But anyway, so yeah, I decide to just manually do this basically by canceling the deconstruction and then deconstructing again, so that my own bots will take the lead on this and start doing stuff. So now it's time to actually place the new mining setups here, and so I just clonk them down. I love that clonking sound at triple speed. That's lovely. So then I just make a giant blueprint to just blueprint a whole bunch at a time. So that's what this is, and I kind of cut off the excess with the deconstruction planner. Very, very useful that, so that I can get the rest settled and start mining this iron ore again. And this is going to be a lot more efficient in terms of getting rid of this deposit faster. Just have it all shipped out to the iron ore collection station thing that we built at some point. It's a dispersal thing that will grab all the iron ore from the trains and send it either to steel production or iron production. Okay. So here I am just connecting up the iron ore lines. And unfortunately, I miscalculate how many lines there are because I think it's because of the dark. And I miss one of them at the top, which I will rectify shortly. But I realize that also, oh well, and I see there's trains backing up, but I know about this. It's okay. I mean, the copper places are not going to perish. And so I turn the train around. I need to go back to the base, I think. Or maybe... Oh, yes. I noticed there's a problem with this rail crossing where there was not a signal separating the block between the top half of the track and the bottom so that trains can pass by on the other side of the track. So I wasn't getting my roboports delivered to me fast enough, so I thought, oh, I'll just go back to the base and empty stuff out and, you know, select different items that I need from the world so it can all be delivered to me. Most importantly are the roboports, which I need to kind of link around that iron deposit so it can get built by the base and basically supplied with modules. So here we are, just going back down there. Going back. Oh, and I immediately crashed into a train, which is extremely unhandy. But that's okay. We both survive the encounter. And I check and make sure, aha, there is a signal actually separating those blocks. So nothing further needed over there. I noticed that these back belts, the ones further to the left, are backed up severely where the ones closer to the station are not. They are providing less. Another problem I've seen is there are bits of copper on the line, so I'm fixing both of these problems kind of at the same time. I go back to the station and see if there's any copper inserted into any of the chests yet. Luckily, this is a massively producing ore field, so it's all kind of been backed up and none of it has actually reached the station yet. So I reposition the miners to get the maximum amount of iron while not getting copper on the line. Pick up any little stray bits from sort of the side areas and just get these ore lines connected in a better fashion so it uses the splitter better and increases the throughput to be more efficient. So here I am stopping back over here to basically just, do a little bit of extra construction, make sure everything, and here's where I fixed the screw up with the belts there. And just make sure I have power on all of the different miners so that all of them are functioning. And here we are adding the roboports, basically just to extend our coverage for putting the modules in and stuff like that. Since all the miners appear to be placed already, that's not really the issue. It's just more of connecting them for the module's sake. So our last stop on this line here is going to be this tiny little copper outpost, which never got its modules, alas and alack. But we do have a little bit of copper here, so I just put miners to mine it as quickly as possible so that we don't have to have this situation happening any longer. We don't need to have trains stopping here just to get piddly amounts of copper ore, because they all go to that station first and then they go to, I think it's copper 2 or is it 3, I don't remember. But so here I'm kind of looking at different deposits that I could tap in the future. I'm debating whether or not to set up a new ore field, but I decided not to. I'm just kind of looking around there for that. All right. So I'm using the automatic parking feature here in the train thing, and of course bots come and serve me. And I go back into the oil area here and decide that, as nostalgic as I might be, this setup doesn't really, it's not efficient. I mean, when you can have productivity plus speed, then you can really get this going better. I first just think, okay, I'll just put a few beacons there and just call it good. And I set them up a couple of times, and then there's pipes in the way, and I had them misaligned first. And then I decided, let's just do this a little bit differently. So I destroyed the whole thing. And again, the network is getting so big right now, and it is very inefficient, and I really should just delete a lot of the outlier roboports. I don't know, I just have this thing where, well, what if I build something along that line in the future, then I won't have to reconstruct it again. But I really just need to do that, just reconstruct it again. So here you see me basically placing down 2 arrays, because this is all we'll ever need for the main base in any case. So I just connect these guys up to the main base. They're the same blueprint as we used for the plastic station. So they should be able to fulfill all of our plasticking needs for a long time. All right, so here we are connecting the coal up, and now we need to extend it back down to the other areas as well. Of course, we also have to connect up the petroleum lines too. So now I do notice that I probably need to adjust the throughput on these things. I pretty much need to redo the entire oil area. I don't know if I really want to do that. It just seems like a lot of hassle and annoyance, but I may have to if we are going to be launching lots and lots of rockets, because this is just not working that well right now. Because basically we're running into the limit of how much a pipe can carry, especially when we have all these we have a lot of these machines that are using beacons, speed beacons, uses up liquid at an incredible rate. So that is the end of our maintenance mode episode. Do let me know what you think about this style of episode. Do you prefer commentary like this one, or do you prefer like previous time-lapse ones that I've done that just have the sort of sped up music and me running around like crazy? Just leave a comment, please, and let me know what your preference is. Anyway, thank you so very much for joining me. I'm KatherineOfSky. Take care of yourselves and each other. I'll see you next time.